and so glad you could join me once again. I'm in the mood for homemade bread. Now, I used to make homemade bread all the time. The problem was my recipe was always 4 loaves, and I used to eat it mostly all by myself, and it was delicious. But I know I'm behind on the wagon, but everybody was making this no-knead bread, didn't have to do anything to it, just kind of like fold, and leave it alone, and it magically made itself. So I've decided I'm going to try this. So let's try it out together. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. This is a vegan-friendly channel, but you don't have to be vegan to eat my recipes because they are quick and delicious and easy. But if you are vegan, then welcome because these recipes are for you. Anyway, let's get going. We're going to start with a large bowl. And into our bowl, we're going to need 3¼ cups of flour. And I just grabbed this recipe off the internet. It's everywhere. So this is not my recipe. I'm just using whatever's out there, guys. So it's 3¼ cups of flour. And again, apparently this is a no-knead recipe. That's 3. And it takes like overnight to do, so it's kind of a no babysit kind of recipe. So it's a good one to do on the weekends. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of salt. I also wanted to mention, guys, a lot of people are using like the Himalayan salt and the sea salt. Don't forget, we do need good old regular ionized salt because we do still need to have some iodine in our systems. And a lot of people just aren't using regular salt. A lot of people are having thyroid issues nowadays. Just putting it out there. Okay, so we have that in our bowl. And now we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of a regular active dry yeast. So I'm just scrapped it. Container. This probably pack will last us a few loaves of bread. So I figured this was a great recipe to make today, have it tomorrow. So it's 1/2 teaspoon. So this isn't one that you make today and have it today. This is a plan ahead kind of one. And then you're going to add in 1½ cup of warm water. I actually used a thermometer just to make sure. It says it shouldn't be hotter than 110 degrees Fahrenheit. My Canadian friends, you'll have to Google that. This is what I actually use my old meat thermometer for now. I use it to figure out how hot my water is. Okay, and then you're just supposed to stir it till it comes together. And it's supposed to look kind of shaggy. It's so far super simple. Just kind of make sure it's all blended together. Just grab a I know it says no knead. But I am just going to pull it together just because I want to. Okay. I know you don't have to, but my OCD-ness is just like kicking in there. So now it just says to cover it with some plastic wrap, put a towel over it, and leave it for 12 to 18 hours. How easy is that? We're going to have fresh homemade bread next week. No, just kidding. Tomorrow. And the reason it's not going to be ready today is because we're using so very little yeast. So that's why it's going to take much longer for it to rise. There we go. So we're going to just leave that. I'm going to throw a towel on top of it and just put it off to the side. And we'll be back tomorrow and see how it's risen. And then we're going to bake it and see how it turns out. Now our dough has been proofing for 12 to 18 hours. Mine's been at least 18 hours, and it is beautiful. It's light and bubbly, exactly what we wanted. Yay for us. So now what we're going to do is we're going to preheat our pan while we're preheating our oven. So we're going to want to preheat our oven at 450. We're going to put our pan in. Once the oven's preheated, we're going to start working with our dough. We want that pan to be screaming hot, just as hot as the oven is when we put our dough in. Okay, so our oven is preheated, and so is our pan. It's still in the oven. We're not going to take it out till we're actually done ready with our dough. So our dough is gorgeous. It is sticky, so we're going to flour our surface very generously. Do not be afraid of using the flour. You can always dust it off your bread when you're done. Again, we're just going to, we didn't grease our bowl. If you're not oil-free, you can grease your bowl. I'm just going to use my little scraper. Works just as well. Save your heart. Okay. Get our dough out. That should be perfectly fine. I was thinking I was going to have way too much flour for that. And basically, you're just going to kind of turn, again, it's a no-knead dough. You're just supposed to turn it a couple of times. Guys, as a cook, as somebody who makes bread, I can't not knead it. I'm sorry. I know you're not supposed to. Okay. I'm going to try not touching it. There we go. Good enough. All right, we're going to get our pan out of the oven. Remember, it's going to be screaming hot. Pick up our dough. Drop it in. We're going to put our other pan on top. This is how we're making our Dutch oven. Okay, we're going to put it back in the oven. We're going to let that cook for 30 minutes with the cover on, and then we're going to take it back off and let it cook another, what was the recipe? Like 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes with the lid off, and that's to allow it to brown. Okay? So it's been about 15 minutes. Just going to take our bread out. It's lightly brown. So anywhere between, it says 10 to 20 minutes. So mine has like folded. I've got a little crusty on top. It is what it is. It's supposed to be playful. It looks delicious. We're going to let it sit for a minute or two. And then we're going to take it out of the pan. I think it'll probably just slide out anyway. There we go. And let it cool on a wire rack. I would let it cool for at least 30 minutes before you try to cut in. I know you probably want to cut in right now and slather it with some jam or something. So that's my first attempt with this no-knead bread. That was pretty simple, pretty hands-off compared to the old way of making bread. Hope you've enjoyed this, guys. I have. This is like something new for me. See you soon.